If life feels overwhelming right now, or you feel like you need to change your life, you need to operate from a higher vibration, but you're not quite sure how that even works, this video is for you. The thing a lot of people get wrong is that we try to become someone completely new, but it's not about becoming someone new. What it is about coming back home to yourself. That's why when they try to change and they do all these other things, especially externally, it doesn't stick, because that's not who you truly are. I'm going to show you how you can reprogram your mind and your behaviors so that you can get better results and they actually stick. You can be consistent with these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to draw this out for you. What I'm talking about is going to be the TSPR. Now what this is there's going to be a trigger. You're going to have sensation. This is your programming, and then you're going to get results. A lot of times though, with our old programming, we get this trigger, right? And the trigger gives us sensations. These sensations are your feelings in your body. That's like if you feel tightness, if you feel a heaviness, numbness, warmth or heat in your body, these are sensations. But what it is, it's giving you a signal. Okay, this is just a signal from your body. The issue that a lot of people run into is that they jump straight from this signal to a reaction. They believe that this is the end all be all, and whatever happened here, it triggers these sensations in your body and you need to react. But the thing is, it's just information, but because of your past experiences, because of trauma, those proven experiences that did happen to you, so there is a reason to believe this, those experiences gave you a story, and we take that story and that becomes our belief, and that's ingrained inside of our body. And so when we feel these things, this trigger makes us feel these things, then our story is telling us we need to protect ourselves. This is what I've been talking about through my past few videos about that safety mechanism that we have. So when we feel danger, whether we see it and it's imminent or it's just stress from our environment, when we feel danger, we react. But our reaction is one of survival, which means we go into the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. This is automatic. We no longer have access to that logical side in our brain. The fear center, your amygdala, starts to take over. It is the driver now. So your fear center is trying to protect you. Your body's just trying to protect you. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you. So that story that our body is telling ourselves over the past trauma and past stories, we then react in a certain way, and we're just used to it. It's a pattern. But we want to break this pattern. So how do we do it? Well, the true work comes from the pause. This is how we can break the pattern. Because the goal is to get to this new version of ourselves, right? This version of ourselves that no longer reacts. Okay, we want certain results, right? We want this new life. We want to be able to respond differently to get different outcomes. So in order to get these results, when we feel that trigger, those sensations that we feel are going to give us a new story, and that new story will give us new results, right? But the thing is, how do we get the new story? The new story comes within the pause. So in the pause, when we get this trigger, because it's going to happen, like life's going to happen, these things are going to happen. When the trigger happens, and then the signal happens, because you're going to feel these sensations, it's a signal. We're going to pause. Ask yourself, what do I feel? And where do I feel it? When you pause and ask yourself these questions, what do I feel and where do I feel it? You're giving yourself a second to assess and to be able to decide how you want to move forward. It doesn't matter what the sensation is. We don't want to identify with it and become it. We just want to ask, what do I feel and where do I feel it? We don't need to become it. What it is, it's just information. It's not danger. But in order to teach your body that it's not danger, we need to pause and re-regulate and come back to center and show yourself that you are safe in this moment and that you can choose better decisions. So when this happens, we're going to pause, we're going to ask these questions, and from there, we're going to create a new pattern. And that new pattern is going to allow us to respond instead of reacting. So we don't want to intellectualize this. We don't need to go too deep. We're just feeling the sensations and asking where it's at. So you can do this with me right now. We're going to pause. Okay, whatever the triggers are that's happening around you, whatever it is, we're going to pause and we're going to say, Where do I feel in my body a tightness or warmth or discomfort to some degree? Where am I feeling my body tense up? A lot of times it can be in our shoulders, or we can be squeezing our hands, or we can be tightening our jaw, or we can feel a heaviness in our chest, depending on what's going on in our life right now. Wherever you feel this, just pause for a moment. We don't judge ourselves. We don't need to intellectualize again. We're just asking, where do I feel it? And what does it feel like? When I ask, what does it feel like? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it heavy? Is it tight? Something that you can do is look up the emotion wheel and see what are other emotions that are out there related to the one that you may think that you're identifying with. So if you think you're identifying with sadness or anger, it could actually be something else. Those are just the only words that you can say right now because that's all you know. So we're going to go a little bit deeper and see some of these other words. And from those words, we can look it up and see what they mean and then be like, okay, like I feel this because I'm feeling tightness from restricting myself. And so I'm feeling frustrated because I'm not expressing myself in the way I need to or want to, or I need to express something. And so over time of holding that in, it's going to build up and it's going to create tension. So again, I don't feel safe in my body. I don't feel at home in my body, which the goal, the result that we want is to feel at home in our body so we can make lasting change. What we're doing right now is something that you will do in the moment. This is going to help you cope in the moment. This is a practice that you will do, TSPR. We're going to have the trigger. That's going to signal some sensation in your body. You will acknowledge and name what that sensation is, and then we will create a new pattern. Now, the new pattern, again, is we can breathe. We can slow our breathing down to more of a calm state, because if I'm anxious, I'm going to be breathing shallow and very fast. My heart's going to be beating fast. So I need to calm it down. So I'm going to inhale through my nose. Exhale slowly through my mouth as if I'm blowing through a straw or blowing a candle out. Now your exhale should be longer than your inhale. This will calm your body down. You can also do a sigh when you exhale. When you sigh, you're relaxed. If you were in danger in the real world, just out and about, something's chasing you, something's going to jump out of these woods, my heart's going to be fast. I'm going to be running. But once I get to safety, you can take that breath, right? We can sigh. We're signaling to our body, we're giving our new body a signal that it's okay and that it's safe, and I can pause, reassess the situation, and then move forward. From a logical standpoint, now we can get back to our prefrontal cortex, our logical mind, where we can decide and we can see what meaning is behind this, and then we can move forward. So what we're doing with our pattern is creating new meaning. This is a new belief system. This is new perspective. The pattern that you have is based off of an old one. So when we get the signal, we need to create a new pattern, give it new meaning. And then at the end of the day, it comes down to repetition. This is how we can have lasting change, not through force, but through repetition. So we acknowledge what's happening because it is happening. These things do happen. You should give yourself permission to feel the things, but only for a certain amount of time. Then we figure out what this new story is, because that's going to create our new pattern. This is our new meaning. So you will get a signal that will happen. You acknowledge it. We name it. We feel where it's at. And then we give it a new story. We are not in danger anymore. We're not the little girl. We're not the little boy. We're not this defensiveless person. We know how to do things now, so we can build this new trust within ourselves that we are capable. You do have the skills now. You have learned. And so we now have created a new story. And with the new story, we give new meaning to the pattern that we are creating, which means it's going to be hard at first, because anything you start out new with, it's going to be uncomfortable. You don't know how to do it. You're starting out new, so you have to learn, right? And so starting out new, creating that pattern from that story that you have, it's going to feel uncomfortable. but you figure out what works for you. So do I need to step away after I feel these things? Does my story tell me that right now I'm not capable of responding in the moment? So I need to say, I need to step away right now. And then you step away and take a moment and decide what you're going to do next. Or does our story tell us that we are capable and what we need to do right now is to breathe because that helps us? Or we need to release the tension so we can squeeze our hands and release. You squeeze some parts of our body and release, because it depends on where you feel it at. Now go ahead and subscribe, because I'm going to be talking more about this, how we can find that safety within, come back to center, and also how you can edit your story so that we can have some new results and we're not basing it off of an old story that we have. But at the end of the day, you are safe right now. So we don't need to respond like we used to anymore. We have learned we can respond new, but we've been programmed for so long to react just off of what we feel in our body, and we don't even know how to truly identify those things in our body and how to express it, which is why I say look up the emotion wheel, because we don't even know the full range of emotions. So you're limiting yourself there. Then we identify with it and say, that's just who I am. I just respond and react that way. But then we figure out maybe we're the problem. So to change that, and no matter what's happening to us on the outside, because we can't change that, we can change what happens inside. We're going to acknowledge the sensations that we feel in our body, understand that it's a signal coming in your body saying, hey, I don't feel safe right now. I don't feel comfortable. And then you pause and say, how do I want to move forward? Well, my new story tells me that I'm capable of moving forward. I'm strong. I can do this. I'm safe right now. I just need to regulate my nervous system in this moment because there is no physical danger. And so we do the things to regulate ourselves. And over a period of time of repetition, it will help us and allow us to do this naturally. And it will become more of an automatic response. And then your body can handle more, you don't feel so like burned out and overwhelmed as easily anymore, because you have regulated your system for a longer period of time. And now you're able to, react and have resilience to whatever comes at you. And then you will notice when you start to get too much and you need to pause and say, well, again, my new story tells me this, that I notice when these things happen that I need to take a moment. I need to take a little bit of time to myself. I need to step away. I need to release whatever it is that's happening. I need to readjust, and then I can come back. Or if it's just something in the moment, then I can breathe. I can relax my jaw, my shoulders. I just come back and remind myself that nothing's happening. I'm just feeling this way. My body's signaling it because I'm starting to feel tense, overwhelmed, a little bit stressed and whatever, anxious in this environment. And so how can I calm myself down? I don't need to take a stimulant to do that. Maybe if you do, do what you need to do. If your doctor tells you whatever the recommendation is for you, do that. But otherwise, any like caffeine, sugars, drugs, recreational drugs, or anything like that, we want to limit that, because we want this to become more natural. We don't need to rely on something, because then when we don't have that thing, then what? And with the way our economy is going and the world is going, it's unpredictable and unknown what's going to happen. So you don't want to rely on things that you have no control over. But what you do have control over is yourself and what you do. So to the best of your ability, we will start to create this new pattern through repetition. You're going to subscribe, like this video. If you found some good information here and you're going to implement some of this, go ahead and share this with someone else that may need some change in their life right now. And they're not quite sure how to do it. They don't know how to stick to it. They don't know what's wrong. They're stuck in this old paradigm, this old version of themselves, this old programming, and they want to get to this new programming to see new results. But it's through the pause. The pause is the work. The pause is the reprogramming. Pause today for a little bit. Check in with yourself. See if you see any sensations in your body that you may need to release. Understand that you don't need more pressure on yourself to beat yourself up because you're not being disciplined or this or that. What you need is more support. Support within yourself to come back home to yourself. And you want to come back to a heart-mind coherence. This means that there's consistent connection between the two. Because when you have that disconnect, you're misaligned, that's when things happen and you're not able to respond anymore because you're getting knocked off your center, as they say. So if we come back to coherence, balance here, this alignment, then we're able to withstand what comes at us and what happens to us. This is about stability and support. Clarity comes after you start moving and we're starting to implement those patterns and it starts to get more natural for us, then clarity will come on the next steps to take. But for right now, we need to come back home to ourselves, show ourselves that it is safe and that you can trust yourself again. We're building new memories and experiences so that we can respond in high stress environments when they happen, because they will happen. Just remember, we're creating a new story that equips yourself with a new pattern, and it's just repetition after that. If you want to break those old patterns and be consistent with the new ones, subscribe, because I'm going in a whole series about this, how you can equip yourself to be able to withstand that stress and continue on and become this new version of yourselves, which is really just that true, authentic self. This will equip you in the new system that we're going into, because we all know a lot's going on right now. And so in order to prepare yourself, it doesn't just mean to prep and do things outside. It means to come within and prepare yourself with what you have control over. And then we can work out, lose the weight, get fit, be healthy, be stronger, not rely on all the stimulants and everything else that's outside of ourselves, because we feel a loss of control, because all the systems that are suffocating us that we feel attached to, because we have no other choice, right? Because we're in this system. We are the change. And is what you do within, and then we can go and do it outwardly. So, as always, continue to shine on.